I am the last human on Earth. Every day is the same routine. All resources are at my disposal. I move my bedroom to the middle of the road. Use ancient artifacts as chamber pots. There's no need to wear clothes. I wake up at 6 every morning. Grab breakfast from any store. Then feed oats to my chickens. Pick some strawberries for dessert. Water the corn with a fire truck. Fill the generator with gasoline. Then broadcast on the radio channels. As usual, no response. It's been like this for 3 years. Afterward I head to the biggest stadium. Play a World Cup final with mannequins. I dribble and score alone. Then shout to the sky. With me the national team would have qualified long ago. By now I've done everything for the day. Yet only 2 hours have passed. I sit with the mannequins. Pass time with movies from all over the world. Finally night falls. The most exciting activity of the day begins. I stretch lazily. Walk into the underground garage. Today I choose a Lamborghini. Speed down the highway. Feeling the thrill of speed and passion. I roar and stand up. Expressing my inner loneliness. Suddenly I spot a figure ahead. Quickly swerve the wheel. The car stops in time. It hits the nearby guardrail. I ignore the injuries on my face. Shine a flashlight ahead. Feeling both nervous and excited. A girl holding a sheep stands before me. She's more excited than I am to see another person alive. She bursts into tears, then jumps into my arms. I feel her warm embrace. Sure now that I'm not alone in this world. Back at the base, I give her all the best food. She says she came from Lhasa. When the apocalypse began, there were rumors that high-altitude areas could avoid disaster. So many people went to Tibet. But eventually they all died. The girl once received a satellite signal, indicating a human settlement in the north. She began her journey with just a sheep. It took her 9 months. I was the first person she met. As she told her story, I tried connecting the satellite TV. And it worked. A foreign leader appeared on the screen, inviting survivors worldwide. When we saw crowds on the screen, we couldn't contain our excitement. We cheered wildly. People. There were really people, and so many of them. That night the girl and I agreed to head to the nearest survivor city, Beijing. The next day we prepared supplies, released the chickens that kept me company for 3 years, set off in a G-Wagon full of hope. We came across a melon field. I collected some communication equipment. I turned out to be the last man on Earth. How would it feel to know you're the last man on Earth? I was stunned for 3 seconds, then burst into laughter. I couldn't control myself. The girl looked at me with disdain and helplessness. In the evening we passed a hot spring hotel. I floored the gas pedal and crashed through the glass doors. Drove the car straight into the lobby. A habit from years of living alone in the apocalypse. After getting out I told the girl, enjoy a soak in the hot spring. Then have a good night's sleep. Tomorrow we'll enter Beijing's human settlement. After speaking I took out the generator and heating rod to heat the water. My sister looked disgusted. She muttered about a fake hot spring. Once the water was hot I left her to bathe. I went to find some clothes. Just as I left I remembered something important. I quickly ran back and said, make sure to unplug it before bathing. She was furious. I quickly turned and ran away. I went to the mall to pick various daily items. Then I chose a dress for her in the clothing section. I picked a stylish suit for myself. The next day we set off for Beijing with excitement. We planned to have roast duck first when we arrived, then spend the night at the Potala Palace. The more we thought about it the better it seemed. Suddenly a few people appeared on the grass ahead. They were the first humans we had seen in 3 years. My sister excitedly greeted them loudly. But I noticed something was off. But below it was a women's factory sign. It seemed Beijing wasn't what we imagined. A roadblock suddenly appeared around the corner. A few armed women stopped us. I instantly got nervous. I messed up my hair to hide my face. Then I whispered to my sister to leave quickly. But she didn't realize the danger. Not only did she stop the car, she naively said she was here for reconstruction work. At that moment a woman with glasses spotted me. She raised her gun and ordered me to get out. I grabbed a wrench and was about to open the door. Suddenly a purple-haired woman ran over shouting, "Sister, they're with us." She handed 2 chocolates to the woman. Then she led us away. The purple-haired woman sat in the back holding a lamb. She said, "I saved your lives. So give me this lamb." It turned out she saved us for the lamb. And she thought I was a girl disguised as a man. My sister immediately protested loudly, "He is not a fake man." I quickly shouted to stop my sister from speaking. The lamb can't be yours. The purple-haired woman paused. She took out a 5Q and said, "How about I trade this with you?" Then she pointed the gun at my head. I stopped the car, feeling incredibly tense inside, but I firmly said, "You absolutely can't have the lamb." The purple-haired woman was about to get out with the lamb. I grabbed her arm firmly. I looked at her with determination. Seeing my resolve, she backed off. After getting out, she said, "You fake man really do have some masculinity." After leaving, we quickly arrived at the joint government office in Beijing. The person in charge was a blonde woman. She was extremely surprised to learn I was a man. She immediately took out her phone and sent a message. "The last man is Chinese. And he's standing next to me." The person in charge and I tried to stop her. But it was too late. The message spread like wildfire in less than a second. Countries around the world began to react. They were all talking about the last man. And that woman was even worse. She posted about me online, causing women everywhere to come after me. They even tried to pin me down on the street. I used all my strength to resist. Just as we were at a standoff, several luxury cars arrived. A Ferrari in the middle was decorated like a wedding car. A woman named Sister Diao, the leader of the Northern Army, got out. They were the biggest gang in the north after the apocalypse. Sister Diao looked at me teasingly and said, "Get in, hubby. I came specifically to pick you up. We'll go to the Potala Palace for the wedding." She walked towards me with a smile. The blonde foreigner immediately stepped in. She firmly said to Sister Diao, "This is the North American joint government area. You can't do as you please here." Sister Diao's face turned serious. She looked at the foreigner and said harshly, "You listen here. Here is China." Blood splattered on my face. The woman who claimed to own me has fallen in front of me. I looked at the dark muzzle and knew this woman was even more terrifying. If I don't do something unexpected, it's hard to escape. So I suddenly rushed forward and pinned Sister Diao down. But to be a leader, she must be formidable. With a slight effort of her hand, she threw me to the ground, then easily subdued me. At this moment, a shovel suddenly fell from the sky. It turned out another foreigner drove an excavator. She attacked Sister Diao with the shovel and shouted for me to run away. The other Dongbei soldiers opened fire at the excavator. I took the chance to grab my sister and prepare to escape. Just then the woman who betrayed me rushed out again, shouting not to leave. I grabbed a wrench and smashed her head. "Damn it, you witch." Dealing with her was just a relief. Now Sister Diao is the biggest threat. Sure enough, the Ferrari chased us not long after. Sister Diao stood on the car teasing me loudly. I quickly closed the car window in fear. Seeing my fear excited her even more. She jumped directly onto my car. I never thought a woman would chase a man so crazily. I wonder if I met the last woman on earth, would she chase me like this? Suddenly the sound of shattering glass startled me. She broke my car window with her bare hands. My mental defenses completely collapsed. I thought if she climbed in, I'd just give in. Just then the roar of a motorcycle came from behind. Sister Diao looked back, her brows furrowed, muttering, "Damn it, it's those persistent guys again." They are the northern guerrillas known as the men's gang. I was extremely nervous, worried they'd take my precious body. At this moment the men's gang leader and Sister Diao were fiercely fighting on my car roof. I occasionally used the brakes to disrupt Sister Diao's attacks. Sister Diao wasn't angry. Instead she smiled and said she'd deal with me tonight. I panicked even more after hearing that. I'd rather study at night than be with her. Quickly picked up a rifle and aimed at her fur coat. Shot right at the opening of the coat. Sister Xiao got hung on a billboard. Finally got rid of this crazy woman. I was extremely excited. After driving another kilometer, the men's gang motorcycle team blocked my way. I quickly shouted at them to stop. "Don't come any closer. I know martial arts." The leader looked at me seriously and said, "We don't want your body. We need your spirit. Because we are the men's gang. In this era of women, we fight for men's rights. You, the last man, are our spiritual symbol. If you are willing to stay, we will protect you well." I didn't think much after hearing this. I immediately refused, saying I needed to study. Surprisingly, they didn't make it difficult for me. They even gave me weapons and gasoline. I was very touched by their enthusiasm. Made a man's gesture, and shouted their slogan, "Men never die. Fight for men." These fake men got excited instantly. Started cheering wildly. My sister lay on the car and said, "They are truly happy to see you." But I told her, "They're all fools. Let's run quickly." This time I learned my lesson. Disguised myself as a woman. But soon the road ahead was blocked. Just as I was about to move the barricade, Several people jumped down from the bridge surrounding us. They thought we were spies from the Dongbei army. Took us to a place called Jiangnan Mansion. The owner was an elegant and intellectual woman. She recognized me as the last man at a glance. But my mood was terrible. Looking at my face beaten like a pig's head, 4 words flashed through my mind. Life is hopeless. Footsteps approached from behind. I knew without looking it was the director and my sister. My sister's comforting words were useless. I quietly asked the director, "Why have women in the world become so powerful?" The director said, "So far, no one knows the reason. If you want to know why, you have to pull yourself together and find out." I looked at her puzzled. "Are you really going to let me go? Don't you want to keep me the last man?" The director coldly said, "Keeping you here will only cause more trouble. Besides, in my eyes you're not even a man. When men face setbacks, they don't cowardly run away like you. In my eyes, you're more like a child leaving home for the first time. What you need now is not strength but willpower, and the determination to find answers." After saying that, he took out a photo and continued, "This person is a biologist. Since there are no men left in the world, she has saved 16 sperm banks and conducted thousands of artificial insemination biologist, hoping that through me, we can find the reason for men's extinction. But as soon as we stepped out we were surrounded by guards. It turns out Hong Ying had already ordered that no one should let me go. The director frowned and said, "Move aside." The girl stood her ground. Because for 3 years the guards have survived on her supplies, and now they're turning against her for a man. The director lifted her skirt, and with a kick sent the girl flying. She then shouted, "I'll personally escort you today. Let's see who dares to stop me." By evening, the director had driven us to Shanghai. Looking at this silent city, it's hard to imagine its past glory. Occasionally there were pedestrians on the streets. All were women. Suddenly, 3 suspicious figures appeared in an alley. I looked closely. It was 2 women bullying a man. Could it be that there's another man besides me in this world? I immediately shouted, "Director, stop the car, there's a man over there. We need to save him." But the director calmly said, "You better not go, there can't be any men here." I didn't listen to her advice at all. Grabbed my gun and got out of the car. I raised the gun and shouted, "Let him go." The two women saw I was serious. And of the eggs.